Hey everybody, welcome to So with Joe. Today we're going to be talking about the best plants for cleaning up your indoor air, and I hope to end off with a story about a new transistor tech that is going to change the entire world by reducing energy consumption in pretty much any electronics by at least 5%. So yeah, hope I can get all the way through there. First I wanted to introduce my sewing project for the day, and that is my jeans, my 20-plus-year-old jeans, have started splitting up the back of the leg, and I am going to put a patch on there to fix that up. I realized that as I was doing this, I was putting the patch on the wrong side. I was putting it on the outside rather than the inside, and considering my jeans, I think I'm just going to leave that error be a happy accident and put that on the outside. So I'm going to use a black thread blanket stitch and go all the way around the outside. Usually what I would do is, if it was on the inside, I would just go along the inside and have a little bit of fraying on the outside. But I want to take the whole outside seam and make a nice big stitch with it, and make sure it holds in place and stays strong. A little bit of stretch fabric so that it will move a little bit rather than just tear. And yeah, this should be an improvement for the jeans. So, before we get started, cheers. So, the best plants for reducing indoor air pollution, and for doing so at a reasonable cost. There may be better ones that are more expensive, but we are trying not to break the bank, especially these days. You want to talk about cleaning up your indoor air pollution, you don't want to spend too terribly much money, and if you can do so, yeah, great. So, best ones, and it is possible to clean up your indoor air just by having plants in your living area. So, you know, the stories that we've shared about trees, living near trees, you know, cleaning up the air pollution that way can benefit your health. In the same way, just having a few plants in your house can help. So yeah, all plants reduce your air pollutant levels by some degree. They did a study actually on the best ones to use, and the best ones that they found at a reasonable price were peace lily, which is a great plant, nice looking plant, big leaves. It's probably what does it is the large leaf surface, the area. Corn plants, which I'm not familiar with, unless they're talking about actual, like, growing corn, but I don't know. That I should have probably looked up. If you look it up, let me know, and then we'll both know, because hopefully you'll leave a comment. I like to learn from you too. Don't hold back. And the third one is the fern arum. It's a type of fern, and those are apparently the best bang for your buck when it comes to cleaning your indoor air. And they say as few as 5 plants in an office can reduce your indoor air pollutant levels by up to 20%. So if you have plants in your home and you feel that your air is fresher because of it, you are 100% correct. And it has been proven. So now, speaking of plants and cleaning up the environment and good things for air pollution and whatnot, Sir David Attenborough, pardon pardon the flub on your name there. Sir David Attenborough has been named Champion of the Earth. Now, I'm not sure if this is, boxing, taekwondo, not sure what sport Sir David's in, but I'm assuming that it's not a sport, because he's getting old. Probably would not still be champion of the earth if he was champion that way, but I'm assuming that he is a champion as in a leader of, how can you say it, environmental change, environmental awareness. He is the voice of countless documentaries. He's done so much work in conservation. It's pretty mind-boggling. So well-deserved champion of the earth. Now, the one thing I wanted to, the one reason I wanted to tell this story was for a quote that he said, and it's always better to use someone else's words because they're usually better than what you can come up with. Someone you want to say something, someone has already said it better. There's a quote about that too somewhere, and that is his quote is, "We know what the problems are, and we know how to solve them. All we lack is unified action." And I 100% agree. The world knows how to solve its problems. We have scientists, we have very smart people that still figure stuff like that out every day. And it's just the world doesn't get along. And that's what we need. We need the world to cooperate so that all these things, all these problems can be solved, and that we can continue as a species. Our survival basically depends on getting along with each other. And I'm not talking about communism, I'm talking about some sort of ideal utopia that we probably can't even imagine yet, because it's not even a glimmer. That might be a glimmer, but I don't know. There's got to be a better way than what we're doing now. And I think as a whole, the world is moving in the right direction. There's just still a few, half of the world that's holding out. Half of the world feels that people need to be led by an iron fist, and half of the world feels that we should all just get along, and democracy and freedom can just happen. People can just live their lives rather than having it dictated to them. Anyways, yeah, Sir David Attenborough, champion of the earth. We know what the problems are, and we know how to solve them. That's a great place to stop, I think, because if the world can get along, the problems will solve themselves, I think. But there's always things that infringe on people's rights, and people don't like the way things are, so they want to change it. And anyway, sorry, getting off on the wrong track here. I'm gonna flip this whole piece over here, working from the wrong end. There we go. That's better. So my segues are just flawless, as you're about to become privy to. Speaking of old men, prostate cancer can now be detected more easily. I spoke on breast cancer being more easily detectable in blood and breast milk, so that it can be more quickly diagnosed. Similar breakthrough has come forth in men's health with prostate cancer. And so prostate cancer can now be detected through certain bacteria that come through in the urine. So if you go in for a urine test, you get your prostate checked at the same time, and it could save some invasive procedures and testing. So that's very encouraging for men's health. Earlier detection of prostate cancer could save many lives. And I have a really awesome story on cancer treatment coming up in another episode soon. So stay tuned for that. It's really exciting. I think I'm going to dedicate a whole episode to it. Yeah, I'm going to shoot for another one of these segues, and it's going from, speaking of new technology, I think this kind of works. Cheers. Speaking of new technology, they have developed a new transistor. And a transistor is an integral part of pretty much any electronic device. And transistors consume a little bit of power every time they are used. Now, if you build a better transistor, it's the kind of the electronic version of building a better mousetrap. Because if you can build something that is the staple of technology in a better way that reduces energy consumption, you can literally change the entire world. So, new transistor tech. I read the write-up on it. I kind of understand it. I'm not going to get into it. But it uses less power to turn off and on. And that's what transistors do. They turn off and on. They send signals of zeros and ones. And they do it at a ridiculous speed. So this transistor reducing power consumption could, the calculations that they have done say could reduce the entire world's energy consumption by 5%. And I know 5% doesn't sound like much, but when you're thinking the entire world's energy consumption reduced by 5%, and if you think that results in longer battery lives for everything, your any electronic device will last longer. Battery size, or your battery can be smaller. Either way, it's just kind of a crazy thought, because the applications are pretty much endless and worldwide. So then your solar panels wouldn't have to produce as much power to run electronic things. So you either wouldn't need as many solar panels, or you get just more power production. Bonus either way. Worldwide energy consumption dropped by 5%. That's the break that we need. That's, because with EVs coming in, the strain on our electrical power infrastructure is just growing and growing and growing, and it was like our electrical infrastructure is bad. It's improved. It is improving. But a lot of the electrical infrastructure is very, very old, and a lot of it is coming due as being needed for, or being scheduled for replacement, and new technology coming in. They're working out the bugs with it. And yeah, so it's an interesting time right now. A very big change towards technology away from the old style ways of doing things. And it's all moving very quickly. Oh, we're going to call that an episode. Just want to say thanks so much for joining me. I do really appreciate it. Really appreciate the time we get to spend together. I've lost my pin cushion. I know it'll show up. But anyways, till next time, keep chilling. Don't forget your cookie. Peace.